Okay, so this morning, let's see, what do I want to work on this morning? A couple things. I want to go, part will be around the clavicles, the collarbones, because if you feel kind of the shape of one of your collarbones, you can kind of walk from the midline, right? And so you could say like the first third, we'll call that the inner collarbone, the first like third. I mean, you could say, do you feel how it, as you walk across your collarbone, how it makes there's a little curve in it? You feel that the little curve in there? Yeah, so we'll call, before it gets to the little curve, we'll call that the inner. And then you feel how it kind of changes its shape a little. And so we're going to call that the outer collarbone. So sometimes I'll say, roll the inner collarbone up, or I might say roll the inner collarbone down. But when you're thinking about those collarbones moving, let's remember, even though it has this interesting shape to it, that it's all on one axis. So when you roll the collarbone, can you, imagine it rolling on the axis that comes through the whole collarbone? Because sometimes the inner collarbone will roll, we might roll it up. Well, we might roll the outer part down. So when we're spinning in those two, we're spinning on the axis. We'll do a little bit with it, not a huge amount, but a little, and we've talked about it some before. And the other place that we'll tap into a little is at the base of the neck. Remember the great big C7 at the base of your neck, that large pokey outy bone, C7 at the base of the neck. So if you feel back to C7 right now, the one that sticks the most out, and you're touching the spinous process, you're touching the sticky out bit. It'd be hard for me to show you on my skeleton because it's so, it's just kind of a pain to get it out. But anyway, you're feeling the spinous process. And if you remember, who knows when, sometime in the past year or something, I think, sometimes we were taking C7, we were taking that spinous process, and we were I'd say take C7 and draw it down the back body. So when I take C7 and I draw it down the back body, that doesn't mean I use my shoulder blades to do that. I'm using the muscles that are nestled right up against C7. So, because you have all these muscles that go along the spine, you're going to go to the muscles that are snugged up against that spinous process, like swaddled, and use those muscles to swaddle it, to swaddle that little spinous process and draw it down. Okay? So I know this is subtle. It makes a difference if you pay attention to the subtlety as opposed to the gross, the big stuff, right? But it's easiest for us to go to the big, but I'm asking you to go to the small. So sometimes you're just going to experiment with in different poses. When I bring C7 down, what happens? Or in some poses, if I let that spinous process of C7 go up. So, okay. You'll remember the manubrium, right? The 3-finger width bone at the top of your breastbone, the manubrium, okay. And it's just like right in there. And the space, the sternum, we know the heart is off to one side, but we also have the energetic heart space. Oh, this is just, and even as I touch into my own heart space right now, I actually feel a little emotion from that. just bringing my hand to my heart. And also, you know, here we are, we're headed towards Thanksgiving. And for some of us, our Thanksgiving looks different. Some of us, it looks similar. But more than that, you know, I feel so much appreciation for being able to either, you know, just to do this practice together, to have this ability to communicate. And even though we're not having class tomorrow on Thanksgiving, you know, you have so much knowledge already about your body. So you can always go, wow, what would my practice look like on my own? What would my own practice be? And how does that, you know, what does that look like? So, you know, we are asked to, through this whole time period of this pandemic, we are being asked many questions of ourselves. Or as David Whyte would say, there is an invitation. What is the invitation? Right? What's the invitation? It's pretty amazing, I think, for us to reflect on the invitation that is presented to us this year. And even as we work towards, like we're working this last several weeks till winter solstice. So we have a few weeks still where the days are getting shorter. So, you know, what is the invitation that shows up for you in that? How do you reflect? Are you allowing yourself reflection time? You know, because now we are not able to distract ourselves quite as easily because we don't have the social way to do that. So, anyway, what's the inner invitation? You can ask yourself that question. And how do you allow yourself to feel that vulnerability or yeah, that's there every single day, really, of our lives. But we often aren't touching it so closely. So let's go ahead. Let's take a comfortable seat. You're welcome to close your eyes. To connect to the support beneath you. That support beneath you, which is connecting you all the way to the earth. And then lengthening your spine up towards the sky. And also, can you connect into the support behind you? The support behind you, seen and unseen. Take a moment to find the right side of your body. The left side. The front of you. And with your next inhale, your inside. And with your exhale, the space all around you. Drop into your ujjayi and balance your inhale with your exhale. and gratitude. Gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within and without and beside us. Gratitude is not necessarily something that is shown after the event. It is the deep state of attention that shows we understand and are equal to the gifted nature of life. Gratitude is the understanding that many millions of things must come together and live together and mesh together and breathe together in order for us to take even one more breath of air. That the underlying gift of life and incarnation as a living, participating human being is a privilege. That we are miraculously part of something rather than nothing, even if that something is temporarily pain or despair. We inhabit a living world with real faces, real voices, laughter, the color blue, the green of the fields, the freshness of a cold wind, or the tawny hue of a winter landscape. To see the full miraculous essentiality of the color blue is to be grateful with no necessity for a word of thanks. To see fully the beauty of a daughter's face across the table or a sun's outline against the mountains is to be fully grateful without having to seek a God to thank him. To sit among friends, strangers, dogs, hearing voices, different opinions, to inhabit many worlds at once in this world, to be a someone amongst all other someones, and therefore to make a conversation without saying a word, is to deepen our sense of presence, and therefore our natural sense of thankfulness that everything happens both with us and without us. We are participants and witness all at once. Thankfulness finds its full measure in the generosity of presence through participation and witness. We sit at the table as part of every other person's world while making our own world without will or effort. Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. And honoring your presence this morning, bring your hands together in front of your heart. And just taking a moment to see if you can get a sense of your presence, your being, even now, sitting even in your own home, but knowing that the other presences that are sitting right now with you. And we'll chant the sound of Om. We'll sing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Take a deep inhale. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And with your next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. And release your hands and lift your gaze. All right. Let's see. Okay, we're going to start our practice by coming up to standing. We'll come up to standing. All right. Boom, little dog. Down you go. All right, so we're going to come up to standing. We're going to take Tadasana. So standing in Tadasana, you shine the palms forward. And just noticing how the weight is falling into your footprints. Lengthening up through the crown of your skull. Can you connect to the back of your body, including the back of your head right now? See if you can get a sense, where is the base of your skull? And can you drop your felt sense into the base of your neck, where a moment ago you were connecting into that place, C7, the base of your neck. And just notice if you drop your attention right into that place of C7, and can you take that spinous process and draw it a little down towards your mid-back. And notice it when you did that, what happened to your head. In my own body, I noticed that when I took C7, when I swaddled C7 with my felt sense, with those little muscles right around that spinous process, and I drew that a little down, I actually felt my head slid back a little in space. And then I realized, oh, I had to take my chin down slightly. Can you bring the felt sense to the manubrium? And from under the manubrium, lift it up. All right, great. And then you can open your eyes and let's inhale, lift both arms. And if you like, you can lift the gaze. Let's exhale, bring the hands back into Anjali Mudra. And when we take them into Anjali Mudra, we might bow the head. We'll release the arms. And again, let's inhale, lift both arms. Lift the manubrium. Bring C7 back and down. And your exhale, hands back down in front of your heart. All right, one more time. Inhale, lifting both arms. Lifting the manubrium. C7 back. Maybe C4 forward. Maybe the gaze is up. And the exhale, the hands come down in front of the heart. Relax both arms. And then let's step the feet wide apart. Let's go, we're going to take warrior 2. So let's go to your left first. So you'll turn your left foot out. Sorry, Diego, come here. Let me come back here. And your right foot in. All right. And then let's inhale. Let's take the arms wide. Let's relax the shoulder blades down the back. And can you roll the inner collarbones up? Can you roll the inner collarbones up? And then with the exhale, we'll go warrior two. Again, just check in with yourself. Did the shoulder blades climb up the back body? Can you relax the shoulder blades down? Roll the inner collarbones up. And then let's turn the palms to the sky. We'll inhale, straighten the front leg, lift the arms up. Exhale, release both arms. Spin the feet to the other side. Inhale, take the arms out. And exhale, warrior two. So once again, can you notice the inner collarbones? Can you roll them up to the sky? And then Sandra, keeping your legs as they are, bring your torso to vertical. Yeah, there you go. That's it. There you go. And then on the back arm, the left arm, see if that inner collarbone, if you can roll the inner collarbone up. And then Lynn, rear the right inner thigh. Lengthen your right inner thigh towards your knee. You don't have to move anything else. Just lengthen the right inner thigh towards the knee. Good. I love that relaxed Pat. I love how relaxed that the shoulder blades are. Yeah. All right, great. Let's turn the palms up to the sky and inhale, lift both arms. We'll make the feet parallel. And then let's step the feet back together. Let's inhale, lift both arms. And exhale the hands back in front of the heart. And can we do that one more time? Inhale, lifting both arms. And exhaling, hands back down in front of your heart. All right, let's release the arms. We're going to set up for side angle, Parsvakonasana. So we'll step the feet apart. We'll go to your left again. And you could have, one or two blocks at your left outer shin. When you're ready, inhale the arms out. And exhale, side angle, Parsvakonasana. So let's go to the base of the neck, C7. And can you bring C7 back and down? And on the lifted arm, on your right arm, can you roll the outer collarbone up? Roll it a little up. Yeah. Okay, and then let's inhale, come up. And we'll release the arms and take the second side. So there goes the right foot out, left foot in. When you're ready, you can take your arms out. And then exhale to side angle. Bending the front knee. That's it. You might go a little longer, Ellie. Go take a longer stance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. That was great. That was great, Sandra. I saw that. I saw that little movement. So let's go to C7. So C7 at the base of the neck. How do you draw it back and down slightly? And the outer left shoulder collarbone, excuse me, rolling a little up. Even as your left shoulder blade is wrapping around the rib cage and you're reaching all the way to the left hand. Great. And you might, Noreen, you might straighten the left elbow. Straighten your elbow overhead by your ear. Oh, I lost you there. You came out of your pose. That's all right. And then on the next inhale, let's come up. No worries. Great. All right, we'll step the feet back together again. Okay. And let's bring, we could take blocks to the top of the mat so that they're there. And then we come to standing. Let's inhale, lift all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, we're bowing forward, Uttanasana. Hands either on blocks or the ground, whatever, but let's have the legs be out straight so the back of the knees are open. We'll inhale halfway. So when I inhale halfway, I can take C7 back and down. And when you exhale and you bow forward into Uttanasana, can you let C7 come more up and out? So you're not pulling C7 back and down. The manubrium's releasing as well. Let's inhale halfway again, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, for those that are going to downward facing dog, we can go there. You're welcome to use the blocks. We haven't really stretched our calves, so sometimes it's nice to take downward dog with hands on blocks. And downward facing dog, if you're there. You're gonna let C7, you don't pull it back and down. You're gonna allow C7 to lift a little up. The manubrium can turn down. We're gonna inhale to plank. We've been working on these transitions from downward dog and plank. So can you work with that some where you're gonna slowly move between downward facing dog and your plank pose? And just do it. Can you do 2 more of those? Great. And then the next time you go to downward facing dog, let's take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, step your left foot forward. So here you are in your lunge, right leg back, left foot forward. Let's start to take C7 down towards the mid back. And we'll lift the hands away from the blocks. Coming upright. Arms could go wide. Inhale, lift the arms up. Inhale the arms out. Exhale, bow forward. Step back to plank. Inhale in plank pose. Exhale, right foot forward. So this low lunge with the hands on blocks, I mean, you've done these lunges, thousands and thousands of times. But can you get that sense of just the gratitude that you feel in simply the experience of doing a lunge right now? There's no need to take the hands up, just the experience of moving your body and staying steady and working with your breath. Some of us might go ahead and take the hands away from the blocks and out wide. Palms can be up towards the sky, like receiving the gifts of life. Maybe the arms come up. C7 down, manubrium lift. Then we'll inhale the arms wide. Exhale, bow forward. Let's inhale, step forward. And exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. Release the arms. We're going to take triangle pose. Triangle pose. We'll go, let's have the left foot be your front foot. So again, a block or something at the outer left shin. Inhale the arms wide when you're ready. And exhale, triangle. Trikonasana. Let's take your felt sense and bring it into C7 at the base of the neck. Draw C7 back and down. And then you might reach the right arm up. C7 back and down. So the gaze can either be, it might be straight ahead, it might be towards your foot. Maybe it's up towards the sky. How did taking C7 back and down change even how you were putting weight through the front leg? And then we'll inhale, come up. And let's switch to the other side. Inhale the arms out. And when you're ready, exhaling. Bringing the felt sense into C7. Taking C7 back, down, and maybe lifting the left arm. And then we're going to inhale, rise. Exhale, release the arms, and we're going to step the feet together again. Inhale, lift both arms. And exhale, bring the hands down in front of your heart. And let's turn the hands right over the space of the heart. All the millions of things that come together, move together, mesh together in order for you to take that next breath of air. All right, and then we'll release that. We're going to take Parsvottanasana. So we'll take our blocks back to the short end of the mat. You can have them tall. Let's step your right leg back, left foot forward, right leg back. Right foot has a very slight turnout. The feet are hip distance, and the pelvis is pointing towards that short end of your yoga mat. And then we'll inhale, let's take the arms out. And exhale, coming forward. We'll bring, hands can come to your blocks, for example. And can you take one hand and just reach it back to the sacrum? And can you feel if the right leg is the back leg, do you feel the right side slightly higher than your left? If your left side is higher than the right, then it might mean that you have more weight in the front leg. So shift, reach through the front leg all the way through the pelvic core into the back leg, almost like you give some traction to the lumbar spine. You lengthen so that the right side will be slightly higher than the left. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to curl down over the front leg. I'm still reaching from the right kidney all the way back towards the right leg, even as I begin to let C7 come up, like it's going to turn. It'll probably point more straight behind me, not down my back. Allow the manubrium to turn in, the collarbones, also the inner collarbones, to spin down. It's a very humbling feeling, is my experience in this pose. I feel a moment of humbleness and gratitude. All right, and then you start to lift the torso parallel with the ground, if it was below that. And then you might come to fingertips, and you're going to reach into the front leg to take the arms away from the ground, out. So we're working on, it works on your balance, and then you're going to step forward. All right, let's take the second side. So now we're going to step the left leg back. Right foot forward, left foot. When I stepped it back, did I go straight back, or did my foot cross the midline? Make sure the feet are hip distance. Back foot's turned out slightly. Pelvis points straight towards the end of your mat. So just notice, is the pelvis pointing straight towards my mat? So you, and then let's take the arms out wide. And as you exhale, begin to bow forward. Good, that's it, great. And if you wanted to, Anne, if you wanted to not drop, the head, you could always use something taller to put the hands upon. Something super tall if you want. So here you are. And you might check at the back of the sacrum on this one. You might just check, is the left sacrum higher slightly than the right? Can you reach from your left kidney all the way back towards that back leg? Great. And then from that place of stability, can you begin to bow over the front leg? Can you let C7 release? Can you allow the inner collarbones to roll down? The manubrium to roll down? And I would have both hands at the same height. So Lynn, if you're going to use blocks, use both blocks. Both hands. So that you won't create an asymmetry in accentuate something. Yeah. And then as you make a transition here, you come to fingertips. The torso lifts a little away. You begin to reach into the front leg to help you with that, finding your balance as you come all the way vertical with the torso. And then when you're ready, step forward. Good. Let's inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, hands back in front of the heart. One more time, inhale, lifting both arms. And exhale, hands in front of the heart. And then let's release the arms all the way down. Let's take a blanket now to pad our back knee. So if we take one of our blankets and we can fold it so that the back knee will have padding. Got my gloves. And let's go ahead, we'll take the right foot back. And we'll bring the right knee down on the blanket. Left knee forward of the left ankle. So I notice in myself, so of course, when I first come here, I am turned more inward, more down, as I'm just working with, how I release the back leg away from my pelvis. And so even as, like, if you remember, if you've been working with the core of the pelvis to the pelvic floor, so if you've already gone from the pelvic core, that space between pubic bone and sacrum, and you reached into that right front quadrant, as you go then into the space between the inner right sitting bone, the inner right tailbone, and your perineum, and you begin to lengthen up and in towards the core of the pelvis, you might feel yourself, you begin to lift up. And then you can go, okay, then I can keep lengthening all that way up. Oh, I could take C7 down. You can lift the top of the manubrium. I can roll the inner collarbones more up. And then as you exhale, you can release and switch sides. So we'll take the left leg back, right foot forward. So in the beginning, we can, have the blocks a little forward, and we kind of work on the reaching from that pelvic core to the space between the left inner pubic bone, the left inner sitting bone, and the perineum. So I went from core to the left front quadrant. Then I'm going to draw my blocks back. And I'm going to put your felt sense in that inner left sitting bone, inner left tailbone, perineum. And from that space, can you reach back up towards the core of the pelvis? So it goes on a diagonal inward. And then, what about C7? Can you bring it back and down? Can you lift the top of the manubrium, roll it up? Can you roll the inner collarbones? You might feel comfortable lifting the gaze, but don't. If it doesn't, if it's not easy, don't bother. All right. And then we'll release. Stepping, let's take the right leg back. And then either taking puppy, downward facing dog, or child's pose. And then we'll bring both knees to the ground and walk the hands back. And we're going to take this and come to bridge pose. So with bridge, let's take a blanket, fold it in half lengthwise, take the rolled end, so it's away from you. This blanket's going to go underneath the shoulders. I want to know where my blocks are. Okay, and I like to have a strap. So with my strap, I'm going to make a loop in it. And the loop is probably about the width of my upper arm bones, maybe slightly narrower. So that when you come down, and you're going to come, shoulders are going to be on your blanket. C7 is on your blanket. The rest of your neck is free. There's no weight on it. So let's do a couple of bridge pose, up, down, without the blocks to begin, okay? So we'll just take a couple of them where we're gonna take, I've got my strap, I know where it is. And I'm gonna press into the feet, inhale, lift up. Lift the pelvis, take the strap, put my palms in, hands in it, wrist, it's around the wrists. And I'm gonna face the palms toward each other. And here, I'm gonna lift the top of the manubrium, roll the inner collarbones up towards the throat. And then exhale, release, take a break. This is, and I'll go, oh, I need to make my strap just a tiny bit bigger, so it gives me a chance. Just resting for a moment. And in a moment, you're gonna go up again. And I want you to notice how the inner collarbones can spin towards the throat And the outer collarbones are actually going to spin the other direction, down. So let's give it a roll. All right, so we can lift the pelvis slightly and take the hands in the strap. And then press into your feet. So you're lengthening out the inner thighs to the knees, from the knees all the way down the shin bones to the heels. Lift the manubrium. Roll the inner collarbones up towards the throat again. And then we'll exhale, release. Taking a moment, take one hand out of the strap, resting down. All right, now for the second one, we'll use the blocks support. So I want to make sure I can reach my blocks. There they are. All right, so this time I'm going to press into the feet and take one block. That'll go under the bony pelvis. 2 blocks. There they are. They're under the pelvis. Okay. And then I'll take the strap. It's between my blocks and my feet. I'm going to press into the strap. I'm going to take a moment and just kind of notice how this feels. I have it in my own body. I feel open enough at the front of my hips to take one of my blocks a little bit taller. So you're not really want to listen to your body if that's true for you. It might not be. And then, all right, so let's pressing out on the strap. Lift the manubrium up towards the throat. Roll the inner collarbones up, the outer collarbones down. When you roll the outer collarbones down, do you feel how that actually grounds the outer arm into the blanket? So you could stay here for a supported bridge. Some of you might bring one knee up and then the other and take the legs up, but you don't have to. So really honor what is the best medicine today. And let's see, and Jackie, will the knees straighten? Can you just invigorate? There you go. That's it. Reach all the way out the ball of the foot instead of the heel. Lengthen all the way up. Take your ball of your foot to the sky. Yeah, there you go. That's it. And Ellie, will the legs come a little closer to the chest? Just bring your legs. There you go. Just that much. There's vertical. Lisa's legs could come a little closer to her torso, just a couple inches closer. Mm-hmm. Good. This is great, Carol. I love seeing the legs together like that. It's beautiful. Yeah. That's it, Ingrid. So Ingrid, walk your feet a little away from your sit bones, just slightly, so that you'll have more space at the knee. So walk them a little farther away, just a tad away. There you go. And then Ingrid, lengthening the inner thighs towards the knees and then straight down into the heels. Yeah, so you might feel the knees come a little closer toward each other. Mm-hmm. Are you still pressing out on your strap? What about the left arm? There you go. There you go. Great. And then you might be bending the knees and bringing the feet down, but we're still vigorously pressing out. We're still lifting through the manubrium. Once the feet have landed, if you had the feet up, then you could go ahead and take the strap off. And you might, if you have more than one block, you'll remove one of the two. If you only have one block, all of us will press away from the block and walk yourself towards your head so that your pelvis will end up on your blanket. And let's keep the knees bent, the feet on the ground. And rest there for a moment. And then let's roll over to one side and use your arms to press yourself up. Let's take a blanket to sit upon. And let's take Marichyasana 3. So if you'll go right leg straight, left knee bent. And you can sit on more than one blanket too. It's no big deal. And you're going to be turning towards the bent knee. So left hand behind, turning from behind the navel towards your left. You can either hold the knee with the hand, hold the knee inside the elbow, or take the outer elbow to the outside of the knee. So now, you might notice, like in the collarbones, that the right collarbone rolls down, the inner right collarbone rolls down, and the inner left collarbone rolls up. I can still bring C7 back and down. And let's turn the head just so the gaze comes back towards the big toe. And then we'll release. And we'll take the other side. Right hand behind, either holding the knee, clasping the knee, or taking the outer elbow to the outer knee. All right, so the inner right collarbone, can you roll it up? And then let's turn the gaze back towards your left to gaze towards your left big toe. We'll take C7 back. And then let's release. Let's take both legs straight. Okay. Good. And for a moment, can we take a seated Upavista, legs wide apart? You can sit up on a blanket. We can have the hands either, let's take the hands actually a little behind us, hands behind us, so that we have the support of the hands to help us lift through the top of the manubrium, lifting through the manubrium. With the hands back, the outer collarbones can roll down, but we're lifting at the top of the breastbone. We can bring C7 down the back. And then we'll release that. take your hands under your knees, bring the legs back toward each other, and I'm gonna take my blanket that I'm seated upon, I'm gonna fold it into more of a square shape, like that. And I'm gonna sit. So the point of it will be on my mat. So when I sit now, I'm gonna sit up on this corner. So we're gonna take Janu Shashasana. If you need more than one blanket to sit upon, get yourself up high enough. You're gonna have your right leg straight and your left knee bent. If you can take your left knee to point more obliquely, even though you're gonna be facing forward, if your hips will let you, you could take that knee oblique. If this shin isn't touching the ground, then shore up the space with another blanket or something. You're facing toward the straight leg. Hands on either side of the straight leg. Let's begin by lifting through the top of the breastbone. And let's even take C7 back. So there's this moment of all lifting up, out. And then as you exhale, you might begin, your hands might walk a little forward. Some of you, they might walk farther forward. And you begin to turn more in. So you're gonna let C7 now point more straight out. The top of the breastbone to curl in. The top of the collarbones to curl in. Do you feel in the forward fold again, that more inward? You get the more inward sense. And then we'll come on up. We'll straighten both legs for a moment. And then we'll take the other side. So we take, if you can bring the right knee kind of back, pointing a little back. Your torso is facing the straight leg, hands on either side. Let's take C7 back and down to begin. And inhale deeply. And then we exhale and begin to come forward. And this is where there's more of a turning in. It doesn't matter, we all have different levels of flexibility. We can still get the sense of turning in, of releasing top of the breastbone in. C7 releases. And here is, that place where I might touch back into my own gratefulness, humbleness, or vulnerability. And you release the back of the neck, all of it, all the way up to the base of the skull. And then we'll walk ourselves back up. Take the hand under your knee and bring it back. And let's take both legs straight. Give our knees a moment of gratitude. Thank you, knees. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so let's take a supported Baddha Konasana. So we'll go fold a blanket in half lengthwise, place that on your mat. Let's take another blanket that'll go folded in half lengthwise to be under your head. And you could have your blocks available. And you're going to sit on the floor in front of your blanket. Bring yourself down so that you feel the blanket, it's above the pelvis and then right meets the shoulders. You can reach down to take the legs in a Baddha Konasana position with the outer thigh and shin supported. And then just dropping into the presence of your breath here. And for the next few moments, can you bring your attention into the inhale being in the rib cage, not the belly. So you're going to bring the inhale. Can you draw it in from the bottom of the ribs all the way up to a certain place along the sternum? And then your exhale, just releasing, relaxing on the way out. It's like the inhale, you're scrolling up the rib cage. And with the exhale, you might even feel like the space of the heart resting back towards the front of your spine. And at the bottom of your next exhale, you're welcome to release any control on the breath. And if you want to be in a different shape for the next few minutes, you know, if this isn't a comfortable resting place for you, then please feel free to change the shape that you are resting in. Gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within and without and beside us. Gratitude is the understanding that many millions of things must come together and live together and mesh together and breathe together in order for us to take even one more breath of air. That the gift of life and incarnation as a living, participating human being is a privilege. And we are miraculously part of something. Thankfulness finds its full measure in generosity of presence, both through participation and witness. Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. Allowing that deep breath of air to come in and also being present for the unfolding of your body as you begin to move it. To roll to one side. And using the support of your arms to come back up to sitting. And joining your hands together in front of your heart. May we take this opportunity to offer ourselves empathy or to offer others empathy and to feel that presence of love. And in deep appreciation, namaste. Thank you, everyone.